Good morning and welcome to the Janison Education Full Year 25 Investor Webinar. My name is Danny Eunice and I help with investor relations for Janison. With me this morning, we have the CEO of Janison, Sujata Stead, and the CFO, Dharmendra Singh. Before I hand over to Sujata, just a note that we'll be having a Q&A session at the end. If you have any questions, please type them into the Q&A box that you see at the bottom of your screen. I would now like to hand the webinar over to Sujata. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny, and welcome everyone and good morning. And my name is Sujata Stead. I'm the Chief Executive Officer, and with me I have Dharmendra Singh, our Chief Financial Officer. And very pleased to present to you our Janison's full year 2025 results. And I'll start off first and then hand over to Dharmendra to talk about the financials. I would like to first begin with the acknowledgement of country. Janison acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we stand today and pay our respects to their elders past and present. We recognize their ongoing connection that Indigenous people have to their land and the importance of their cultural heritage to the community. In terms of our FY25 highlights, before we share with you the financials, there's just a couple of highlights that I wanted to share with you. I know that I've talked to many of our shareholders during the year, and this is my FY25 was the first full financial year as a CEO of Janison Education Group for myself. And as you know, one of the focus for me has been very much ensuring the organization has a new strategy, the laser sharp focus on a clear strategy, and ensuring that we have the right leadership team to deliver on our strategy and our ambitious growth and transformation agenda. And very pleased to share with you today that now we do have the full new executive team in place, as you can see on the screen. So we have executives with diverse experience, skills, and capabilities. And together, it's an exceptional team who are all well poised to deliver at pace our transformation strategy. The next slide, what I wanted to share with you, of course, is the key kind of credentials for Janison. I know, again, I've shared a previous version of this slide at the mid-year update last year. And what I'm trying to convey through this slide is that, yes, we have a great transformation strategy for Janison. It's all about, taking our focus back on our platform and ensuring that we actually realize our organization's full potential by ensuring that we have the world-class platform to provide organizations exceptional services in terms of digital assessment delivery end-to-end. But what I'd like to remind everyone is that we are actually delivering on the growth and transformation strategy on a very kind of impressive set of track record and credentials. So it's a strong foundation. And very pleased to share with you today that that foundation continues building and the numbers keep getting stronger. Some of the numbers I want to share with you today is, of course, our revenue. We've had 9% revenue growth over prior year to $47 million. We delivered 7 million assessments across 117 countries. And we've actually delivered testing to over 10,000 schools who have used Janison digital assessment platforms across Australia. So some very strong numbers that we are very proud of and the impact that we are making in digital assessment and learning in Australia and across the world. In terms of the FY25 performance highlights, as I've shared with our shareholders during the year in FY25, FY25 strategy has been a deliberate strategy of focusing on ensuring that we are building a solid, strong foundation, investing in our business so that we have the right capabilities, right skills, right infrastructure to realize our full potential and deliver sustained growth, but do that in a manner that we are also simultaneously growing the business. And from that perspective, I'm very pleased to share that we've ended FY25 very much achieving that, which is building strong foundation, but also delivering growth and momentum at the same time. So some of the numbers, of course, is, we achieved revenue growth of 9% in a year of very disciplined execution. EBITDA and cash position is in line with prior period, as I've shared in my previous updates. And that's very much reflecting the deliberate need for reinvestment into the business to ensure that we have the right capabilities, skills, and experience to ensure that we can keep growing. In terms of balance sheet, again, very, very strong balance sheet at June 25. And very pleased that from that perspective that we have been able to maintain the balance of growing and investing in the business, but in a manner that we also exercise strong fiscal discipline as well. Now, in terms of some of the narrative, some of the qualitative kind of narrative behind those numbers, just want to highlight a few things. As you know, that NAPLAN Online is one of our flagship programs. This year, we delivered about 7 million tests worldwide, including for NAPLAN Online, about 1.3 million students across about 10,000 Australian schools. In addition, of course, we are very, very delighted to welcome a new strategic platform customer in the New Zealand Ministry of Education, where we will be providing the digital assessment tools and expertise for the delivery of a due assessment across New Zealand schools in their bilingual curriculum, both in the New Zealand curriculum and the Maori Aromatawai tool as well. And of course, as you know, one of our largest contracts is with the New South Wales Department of Education. We have a long-standing partnership with the New South Wales Department of Education that spans over 20 years. But one of our most recent contracts is the one for the digital delivery of the opportunity class and selective high school assessments. And 2025 was year one, where we digitized the assessment. We administered them through a new network of centers and also through new contents. While testing went to plan in 106 venues, of course, as you know, in 3 of the largest test venues in Sydney, we had crowd management challenges. And we work very collaboratively with the department to ensure that every student who was impacted could complete their assessment. And now going forward, our focus is very much committed to this very valuable and deep-seated contract that we have with the department. And we are very, very committed to ensuring that we take all the learnings from the 2025 testing as we actually start planning for the future rounds of testing. The other, of course, highlight that I want to share is a sales pipeline. I know I've been sharing the sales pipeline the last couple of updates, and pleased to report that it's grown by 80%. Then looking at the product side of our business, ICAS had a very strong year. In previous years, ICAS has either had static or minimal growth, but very pleased that we've returned ICAS back to growth and ended the year with 15% growth. We'll talk a bit more about that in subsequent slide. In terms of innovation, of course, I think what we are very proud of is the launch of JAI, which is our AI-powered assessment platform that combines human expertise with AI to pave the way for the next generation of digital assessments. In my next slide, I'll talk a bit more about JAI. So JAI is very much our latest AI-enabled platform. We have been talking quite a bit about this, and what we are very pleased about is the platform is now fully operational. It's been embedded internally to our internal item development workflow, including ICAS, and also very pleased to share that we have also adopted, it has been adopted by our first JAI customer, by the Chartered Accountants of Australia and New Zealand. And what really is exciting about JAI as an AI platform for our business actually is it's a great example of where we are actually combining, artificial intelligence with deep pedagogical expertise through a human in the loop model, where JAI actually sits as a member of the item development team, working alongside our human item developers to ensure that we can scale up without compromising quality, what is often one of the biggest barriers to scalability for assessments. That is a creation of items that can often be laborious, time-consuming, and expensive. And what I would also love to share with you at this point is some of the results of the adoption of JAI, both internally and externally. Customer impact, some of the stats are, of course, 70% reduction in assessment creation time, 90% acceptance rate, exceptionally high acceptance rate for AI-generated items, and accelerated delivery of high-quality content. Internally, we have 50% lower item production costs as a result of use of JAI and 5 times more productivity improvements. It has also contributed to us 5% product gross margin uplift and enabled us to launch a new product in FY25, which is the ICAS All Stars. And just sharing a quote on the side about how delighted the Chartered Accountants of Australia and New Zealand, a long-standing customer, is with the adoption of JAI and how it's helping them with their strategic objectives as well. Now, in terms of our FY25 financial results, I'll just hand over to Dharmendra to take us through the financial results.
Thank you, Sujata, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. So I'll be taking you through the FY25 financial results section of the presentation. So I'll move on to slide 10, which gives us a bit of a highlight on the key metrics that we've been tracking and presenting these over the past few presentations as well. So we have revenue, gross profit, EBITDA, and free cash flow. So I'll talk through those in the next couple of slides in a little bit more detail. So moving on to slide 11, which is the group income statement. So we'll start with some of the key financial takeaways. I think Sujata touched on our revenue growth of 9%. That's been at the back of new platform customer wins, which we also mentioned earlier on, and also complemented by our strong results in the product segment as well, particularly ICAS, which again, Sujata just touched on. So we'll talk about some of the segment level information in the next few slides, but at a consolidated level, gross profit, it reduced by about 3 percentage points. That is a result of our investment in transition and partnership with our clients as they moved towards the digitized ecosystem. So we will again talk about where in which segment that has been impacted the most, and then we'll highlight those in the next few slides. So at the OPEX level, the OPEX has gone up by 4% as well. What's pleasing to note is that if you look at the revenue growth of 9%, that's contained at that level. And again, as Sujata mentioned, this has been the first year of our transformation journey. And so having that to be kept at 4% was quite pleasing. That also assisted in maintaining our operating EBITDA at the $3.1 million mark, which is consistent with prior period as well. So I'll touch on net loss after tax. So net loss after tax at a statutory level increased by about 3.2 million. Now, the thing to note in there that includes a one-off adjustment of about 4.5 million to deferred tax assets. That is a non-performance related adjustment that is one-off and non-cash as well. So we'll talk about that when we get to the balance sheet. But if we exclude this, the underlying net loss was about 1.5 million lower than prior corresponding period. So as I mentioned, we'll sort of cover some of the details at the segment level as well. So firstly, covering the platform segment. So looking at this segment, it delivered strong top line growth, and that has been supported by the strategic investments in our high stake contracts as well. And I think Sujata covered on the delivery in the New South Wales environment, the complexity and how important it was as the New South Wales government also, Ministry of Education, transitioned into the digitized ecosystem for the first year. So that was quite significant in terms of helping us obviously grow the revenue in this segment, but we've also have onboarded new clients as well. We've had some partial losses from customer attrition as well on our legacy systems, but I think we've flagged some of them before as well. So the key one was the Singapore Education Assessments Board. So we lost that revenue, but that has been over a period of last couple of years. At the gross profit level, the gross profit reduction that has been driven by the revenue mix shift towards professional services in platform. And I think it is important to note that as we have delivered these high stakes complex engagements in the first year of transition for our partners and our customers, it was necessary. And that also has been quite important from us from a strategic perspective, because not only demonstrates our ability and capability in partnering with our customers to deliver those, but also has enabled us to land on some other key strategic customers as well. So I think Sujata mentioned the New Zealand Ministry of Education. So that's at the back of our ability to demonstrate that we are able to deliver this. And I think that's quite important because as a lot of the not only locally, but globally as everyone moves into this digitized ecosystem, that does place us in a very strong position as well. I think OPEX, as I mentioned before, in this segment was up because that also required a lot of support services to our clients as they transitioned. And I think that is quite strategic from our perspective to invest in that as well. And in addition to that, I think Sujata also mentioned that we are trying to scale the business to sort of grow for future as well. So there has been a bit of that transformation related adjustment to our OPEX line as well. Both the gross profit and OPEX then obviously impacted our EBITDA in this segment, so which is down to 24 million by 2.4 million, sorry, and finishing at about 1.7 million. So look, whilst we've made some strategic investments in the platform side of the business to support long-term growth, the product segment delivered strong margin accretive performance this year. So I'll take you through that in a little bit more detail now. So if you look at this segment, the revenue is up by about 6%, and that's $1 million. And again, that's at the back of very strong sales from our flagship product, iCase. And I think Sujata also talked about the All Stars competition that we launched as well. So that really contributed to strong revenue growth of this segment as well. It was also complemented by our other product suite, which is the AAS product. So that combined gave us a 6% growth in this segment. Now, what's pleasing to note in this segment as well is the gross margin improvement that has complemented some of our investments that we've made in the platform segment. And that's at the back of a number of things. And I think one of the things that Sujata just touched on was the efficiencies that we are getting in our product development or content development, I should say, from the productivity gains that is coming from using our own internally created Jive AI platform as well. So that has significantly improved our gross margin. And in addition to gross margin, that has also allowed us to streamline some of our processes as well. And hence our OPEX number also reduced by $1 million as well. So if you look at the bottom line numbers in this segment, that's been a bit of a turnaround. It's gone up by 2.4 million from a loss to a $1.4 million segment EBITDA profit. And that really is positive for us because this is also a bit of a test case for us as to how we'll obviously take Jai as a platform into our other parts of the business as well. So I'll move on to the cash flow statement. So if I sort of focus our attention on the operating cash flow, that's up by $1 million. That's been driven by working capital improvements. And we've been able to then reinvest that in our business, particularly in the product development as we supported our key clients and our customers, but also in the Jai platform as well. That was about 2.2 million, and more than 50% of that was growth-related CapEx as well. That left us with a net increase in our cash position of about 0.5 and leaving us with a closing cash balance of about 10.6 million, which is in line with what we've been expecting for the current year. So I will move on to the balance sheet. And I think I'll start off with saying that the balance sheet is quite strong. We remain debt-free. And I'll sort of touch on some of the key highlights and key variances as we sort of walk through that in a little bit more detail. So cash at bank, I think we've talked about that. The reduction in the current assets is predominantly coming from working capital improvements in the trade and other receivables line. But the other adjustments highlighting that most of them are non-cash related adjustments. So if you look at the intangible assets, that's declined by about 6.4 million. That's as we're running off amortization of our customer relationships, particularly from our previous business combinations, and then also the normal amortization charge from our software and our product platform as well. So just wrapping the asset section up with the movement in the deferred tax asset. I think I've talked about that earlier on in the first slide. That's a non-cash adjustment. And I will sort of highlight again that this is a non-recurring adjustment, mostly done to align and make the accounting practice of recognizing deferred tax assets on temporary differences in line with how we've treated the tax losses as well. Liabilities, the reduction again reflects working capital improvements, but we've also reversed the deferred tax liability in relation to those temporary differences as well. So I will close off with sort of highlighting that it's a strong balance sheet, debt-free, and we've also got 2+ million of undrawn facility as well. That really puts us in a very strong position to walk through our second year of our transformation plan and a longer-term value creation pathway that we're on. So on that note, I will pass back to Sujata to take us through the strategy and outlook section, but more than happy to take questions in the end as well.
Thank you, Dharmendra. So in the last section of our update today, I'll focus on the strategy and the outlook, essentially what our focus is in the current financial year, FY26. And essentially, I think what I would like to share with you is the market landscape where Janison is operating and what is our competitive advantage in that position. Now, Janison is in the space of digital assessment delivery. We are one of the pioneers, been there in the business for over 20 years right now, and have got an exceptional track record of digitizing large-scale national school exams like NAPLAN in Australia, perhaps one of the largest digital exams of its kind in the world that requires delivery across different bandwidths, infrastructures, and geographical remoteness as well. Similarly, also, we do some huge state-level assessments like New South Wales, which is one of the largest public school education systems in the world, in the Southern Hemisphere. So I think if you look at those experiences that we have, combined with the opportunities in the market, based on latest data, the market is set to projected to grow to just about $27 billion by 2032, about 10 to 12% growth annually. And given I understand we are still on a transformation journey, but given the clarity of our strategy, the capabilities we are building, and that focus of being ambidextrous of building and growing at the same time, we feel we are in a very strong position to get a bigger share of the growing global market for digital assessments. Some organizations are already on the journey. Some organizations are looking at being on the journey over the next couple of years. And hence, I think what Dharmendra mentioned in his financial update is important. I think in the sense that it's important that we bring these organizations on the journey. Sometimes might require also bringing them on a journey from paper-based traditional testing to digital, and hence that component of mixture of both platform revenue and services revenue from the platform side of our business. In terms of the geography, our proactive focus is where our team is based, primarily Australia, New Zealand, and the surrounding region, and also UK and surrounding region. But of course, I think as I've shared in my previous updates, one of the focus for us also for this year has been a partnership. The entire digital assessment industry and ecosystem has a large number of players who are offering complementary and often competing services. And we are part of that ecosystem, a small organization at the bottom of the world. For us, I think one of the areas of growth that we see is through strategic partnerships. And from a partnership point of view, our growth strategy also is opportunistic, which is that we work closely with partners and together offer the best of breed solution to our customers that actually provides a clear, compelling value proposition. And from that perspective, we are also looking at going to other markets that may not be naturally accessible from us, from where our teams are based, but through partnerships, they do become accessible. In terms of our value proposition to our customers, what we offer is an integrated ecosystem that combines our end-to-end digital assessment platform, which does everything right from item creation to test delivery to results analysis to results publication. That's beautifully complemented by our delivery services, where we are helping with the administration and the logistical challenges and the maneuvering of how you deliver those tests. And that's supported by our trusted school assessments like ICAS and AS, which offer valuable insights to school in terms of student performance and scholarships and placement testing, but also school competitions like ICAS, which is a great way of students being able to demonstrate their excellence in academic areas, just the way there are number of competitions for students who are more inclined towards sports or music and the arts. And all of them is now being enhanced by our latest AI platform, Jai. And that way, what we are providing is we are providing a kind of a beautiful ecosystem where they're all interdependent. For example, Jai could create those items that feed into our platform and thereby, through our delivery services, offer great seamless assessment experiences to our customers. That also creates multiple pathways for growth as well. Now, of course, I think, our ambition of growth and transformation is actually validated by strong track records and stats. As you know, our platform is, is highly robust, resilient, scalable, and accessible. It has got track record of delivering just under 500,000 tests at the same time, concurrent users. It's ISO 27001 certified security standards. And of course, we have a human-in-the-loop AI capabilities. And of course, we are also growing from a strong baseline of a pipeline that's grown by 80% to nearly $29 million. So essentially, I think, it's an exciting market to be in. Janison as an organization, we are very much driven by our value and mission to unlock the potential in every learners. And given our track record, our partners, our product, and the robustness of our platform and our pipeline, we are in a very strong position to continue on the journey of growth and transformation. In terms of our pipeline, just kind of what I wanted to share with you, quite pleased to share with you, is that the pipeline is moving in the right direction. So, the number of kind of deals or revenue, which is potential revenue, which is in the final stage, which is validate and negotiate, has increased. So the pipeline is moving in the right direction. So very pleased with that. Of course, typical sales conversion time is 12 to 18 months. It's a large enterprise deals, primarily with governments. They do take time. And in terms of the opportunities, they span both private and government clients. And in terms of the regions we are focusing, that pretty much aligns with our strategy of focusing in APAC and UK and the surrounding region. In terms of our focus for FY26, 25 has been the first year of our transformation journey, and we're very pleased to have completed it in the way we wanted it. That means some good, strong foundation, good growth, and FY26 is to continue on the journey of growth and transformation with focus on 3 interdependent areas. The firstly is execute the go-to-market strategy. We've made a huge amount of investment in ensuring that as an organization, we've sharpened our go-to-market capabilities and strategy, including we have now a highly competent and experienced Chief Growth Officer. We professionalize our tender submissions and our entire sales cycle. We've got some great partners, and we also have a world-class advisory committee with leaders in our industry from across key markets around the world. So through a combination of all of this, what we are looking forward to is making sure that we continue having that laser-sharp focus on executing our go-to-market strategy, but doing that in a manner that we continue investing in our platform, including our AI capabilities, so that the platform continues to meet and exceed customer needs and continues to remain fit for purpose in a sector which is evolving very fast. And finally, all of that is underpinned by driving operational excellence, ensure that we keep the customers at the heart of everything we do and give them the exceptional service that they deserve. So that is very much our laser-sharp focus on what we'll be doing as an organization, focusing on strategy in a manner our platform continues evolving and growing with the investment in AI, and also continue driving operational excellence. And on that note, it brings us to the end of our presentation, and we have got some time, so very, very happy to take questions at this point.
Thank you, Sujata. Yes, we will now move to the Q&A session. Once again, if you have any questions, please type them into the box on the screen. We do have a few questions to go through. So the first question is, could you give us some idea about the New Zealand Aramatawai tool contract potential size relative to NAPLAN?
Good question, but at this point it's still a bit early days. But I think all I can say is that yes, it is going to be, it's got a potential to be a significant contract and a significant partnership, and we should be able to share a bit more information in the coming weeks, if not coming months. But from our perspective, I think we are excited because we are helping another national school assessment in another country, take our experiences from Australia and globally through exams for OECD and previously for the Singapore Examination Board, and taking that to New Zealand through our best of breed solution and together building something which has got potential to be significant.
Thank you, Sujata. There is a question around Jai. And with respect to Jai, can we expect any visible revenue in financial year 27, if not maybe next year?
The objective is yes. Yeah, the objective is 27, yes. I think the way we are building Jai, I think, which is a very exciting way and which slightly differentiates us from our competitors, is very much, we have Wayne, our founder, who's leading on as the director of AI research, doing a fantastic job. But what we're doing is we are actually working with customers to ensure that Jai actually does solve real life problems that our industry has in terms of item creation, and then further expanding capabilities as we develop up our assessment platform further. From that note, absolutely, I think, we're going to continue on that journey of internal adoption of Jai, but also expanding the market penetration with Jai. So yes, I think, from FY27 onwards, we are, we hope we have the revenues moving in the right direction.
Okay, there's a couple of questions around gross margins. So I'll pool them together into one question. So maybe Sujata and Dharmendra, could you maybe comment around the medium and long-term expectations for gross margin? And is it likely that digital-based opportunities that are in the pipeline can lift those margins in the future?
Yes, I think the answer is yes. I think as we are bringing new customers on board, I think, the margins will keep moving in the right direction, right? But at the same time, I think, what I also want to reiterate is that services is a key component of our industry. If you're offering a digital platform, that's our core competitive advantage. But what actually creates the stickiness, the market penetration, the long-term relationships is also not just providing the platform, but also being able to provide the services that are required to bring the platform to life and offer, seamless assessment experiences to learners. So I think, and, as an organization, I think, we'll continue working on services that continues being part of our offering to our customers, thereby creating that customer stickiness and long-term value creation. But of course, I think as Janison diversifies our customer base, we get a bigger pool of customers. We are also bringing those internal efficiencies through Jai and use of AI. Yes, I think we will see margin over time moving in the right direction.
Great. There's also a question around OPEX and the R&D CapEx. So maybe Dharmendra, you could come in here as well. So effectively, the question is around: do you have a view with regards to cost growth? Can you keep cost growth below revenue growth effectively?
Look, I think that's a good question, Danny. One of the things we will highlight is, I think as Sujata talked through, right, this is year 2 of our transformation plan. So we've talked about investments not only in our platform, but also in capabilities as well, because we've got a value creation plan that spans over 3 years now. And so in the first couple of years, we would expect that cost will be going up. We will obviously try and keep it below the revenue growth line, but I think as we move forward, particularly next year, that will be the second year of our transformation sort of journey. So we are expecting that our cost will go up because, as Sujata mentioned, we've now got a fully aligned and new executive team as well. So there's that. Plus, we'll go back to that gross margin point as we're supporting our customers. From a direct perspective, there's a lot of support services that goes with that. Now, we do expect that to moderate, but I think as we go through 26, we will see some pressures on that.
I think what our focus is in FY25 and FY26 are the 2 years we are looking at building our foundation, building our capabilities, automating, bringing AI in, embedding AI into our workflows, so that as a result of that, in future years, we can see, the greater productivity, greater efficiency, as a result of that, also greater improvement in margins as well. So in other words, we are not looking at, that margin pressure to be a forever road, unending, but we are looking at more kind of a finite, a couple of years investment that creates that and enables us then to actually kind of provide the returns as a result of those investments. And a lot of that is going to be through AI. A lot of that is going to be through automation. a lot of that also is going to be through just diversifying our customer pool.
Okay, as expected, there's a couple of questions around the New South Wales selective school tests. Again, I'll just ask the one question with various sub-questions. So maybe Sujata, Dharmendra, can you maybe just talk about the profitability of that contract in the first year? Did the extra exam sessions incur one-off costs that were included in the expenses line? How was revenue booked for the platform segment?
I think, again, I think reiterating that's a very critical project for our business. The Department of Education New South Wales is our, one of our largest customers, along with, NAPLAN and ESA, both very long-standing customers. And I think, for us, I think the profitability is more or less in line with what we had forecasted. So there is no, there's no negative impact, in other words. And yes, so I think that's, in short, that's the answer.
Yeah, and I think then we have, so there's no difference in revenue recognition in the New South Wales contract to any other contracts as well. So I think the key thing is what has impacted is obviously the level of support and services that we have provided. This is the first year of a major, complex, highly complicated project, right? Which is digitization of the whole ecosystem. So on that basis, I think where we've landed is a pretty decent outcome.
Great, thank you. And now there's a question around the pipeline. So in the pipeline, the validate and negotiate opportunity pipeline is 16 million. The investor is asking in regards to previously, was this called the proposed pipeline? And was it 10.1 million when it was last published at the half year result?
Yeah, we probably will have to look into that, Danny. But I think on the 15 million part, what we can say is that is the section where we've moved quite positively on, and that reflects a large part of that is what we've talked about earlier on around the New Zealand Ministry of Education as well. So a big part of that is in that sort of section.
Great. Okay, we're down to the last three questions. So just a reminder, if you have any questions, here's your final chance. Please type them into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Okay, the next question is around where are your competitive strengths and do you have the scale to attack the global education technology market?
So I'll answer the first one first. I think it's our competitive edge, right?
Yeah.
I think in terms of our competitive edge is pretty much what I shared in the last section of the presentation. I think it's a combination of number of stuff, right? One of them is the track record of the credentials of the organization. And if you look at NAPLAN, right, many other jurisdictions that we are talking to, they're still kind of talking about digitization of traditional assessments, but the complexity that is required because the diversity is required, geographical diversity, infrastructure diversity, the school, the nature of the school diversity. How do you actually deliver a national school assessment with that level of diversity, right? So if you look at the NAPLAN example, right, we had to deliver when the exam was taken online, kind of an online assessment, which could work in low bandwidth areas, high bandwidth could work as well as in downtown Sydney or Melbourne, as it could work in a very remote community somewhere in the middle of Australia. Similarly, it had to work in any kind of device, you bring in, right? Then it could have to be working in a manner that is secure and you're not accessing, any other, platforms or systems while you're doing the test. That level of diversity, right? That level of complexity, I think very few organizations have the ability to penetrate a kind of a diverse geographical and infrastructure and cultural diversity that that we penetrate through our platform to ensure that assessment at the core is what it is, where what is the main purpose of assessment, which is about unlocking the potential in every learner, but in a manner which is equitable, accessible, reliable, and scalable. And I feel at our heart that is still our core competitive advantage. And I believe that's one of the reasons why we've also been successful in New Zealand. Then, of course, I think the other is, of course, now is that whole end-to-end ecosystem that we provide. We provide, very much your platform, which is now complemented by your AI platform. We provide, the services, we provide school assessments, and those, and all backed up by strong track records of high degree of scalability, security, robust, strong, so all of that. But in going to your next question about how do you scale, being a small company, in Australia, right? And I think, we're looking at scaling as a very pragmatic way of scaling, not kind of, building a gigantic global workforce and then hoping it'll come, but rather we are looking at, I think the strength of an organization like Janison is our relationships, and a relationship that the organization has for longstanding, and the relationship that even I bring, with my 25 years in the assessment industry across the globe. It's all about through the partnerships, what we call the best of breed solution. So, often when we're going and talking to potential new clients, I think rather than saying we can do everything, it's about we operate in an amazing ecosystem. And a great example of that actually is what we do for the New South Wales Department of Education, where the contract is with Janison, where we provide the test venues and the digital platform. But the content, we actually work with our partners at the University of Cambridge Press and Assessment, which is one of the world leaders in school assessments. So we bring them in, they provide the content. So I think, and the best of breed partnership with having great partners across the world allow us to scale that we could not have otherwise, being a smaller organization in Australia.
Thank you. The next question is around the leadership team. So you've recently appointed a chief growth officer and also a new CFO, Dharmendra, who's on this call. How will these new leaders accelerate execution?
I think it's a very good question. I think what I'm excited about is making sure, because if you look at the FY25, a huge part of that growth and transformation has been delivered with a very small executive team, because we're in the process of building. It's only by the time we came to the end of FY25, the full executive team is in place. And what's really exciting is that, for example, looking at our Chief Growth Officer, Sasha Hampson, she comes as a Vice President of Pearson Test of English, 18 years, building a product from inception to making it the market leaders in Australia, dislodging the incumbent market leaders. So what I'm looking at right now is that really excited that we have leaders like Sasha, whose core competency is, go to market, building those relationships and converting opportunities. So finally, I think what we have is we have a core set of competencies and capabilities in our executive, which is required to make sure that the key components of an organization, which are required to be amazing in order to build that scalable, sustainable organization, have got leaders at the helm. Whether it is Dharmendra as a CFO, making sure that not only financially, we are sharp, but also commercially, the commercial part of finance as well. Sasha is very much making sure that she's leading on the commercial front. Then we have our Chief People Officer, Courtney, who's also new, which is really important because any transformation, any growth, it's important that we bring our people on the journey and enable our people to actually perform their best. And so I think what I'm excited about is having all the right skills and competencies across the business to together and collectively deliver on our goals.
Thank you. The next question actually segues very well into it because Dharmendra gets another mention. So Dharmendra, new CEO, joined in early July. Welcome, and hopefully you've settled in well. I think you have. So the question really is around the segment reporting lines in terms of, there's been a couple of changes over the years in terms of how you report segments. Going forward, and with Dharmendra joining Janison, is this how we should expect the divisionals being split through platforms and product going forward?
Look, that's a good question, Danny. At the moment, there is no reason why I would sort of change that because as Sujata mentioned, our core sort of product line is platform. But in addition to platform, delivering the platform, we also provide services and a services element. And there will be a number of that required as a lot of our customers and clients moved into the digitized ecosystem. And then the complementary side of that business is the content side, which again has got some of our flagship products like ICAS and AES. So at the moment, there is no reason for us to kind of really sort of explore changing that. But as I sort of spend the next couple of months understanding the business a little bit more, I'll be reviewing that as well if there's a change required. But for now, I don't think there's any kind of clear reason as to why I would kind of differentiate or split that.
Thank you. And the final question is around your strategy. So what is the current strategy for growth? Is it a focus on geographic expansion, partnerships, or deeper penetration with existing customers?
I think it's a combination of all. So I think what we're looking at doing is, as you can see, our strategy is very much, having the clear focus where the platform is a center of our product offerings, supported by services, by our school assessment products, and all nicely wrapped up by our AI platform. Now, our strategy is, as I mentioned, is very much about that acceleration of go-to-market. In a manner, we are focusing on our platform and also in continuing to drive customer excellence. But in terms of how do we grow, I think growing, we're looking at a very much a pragmatic strategy of, these are multiple ways you can grow, right? It's very much retaining our existing customers, which is very, very critical. Our long-standing customers have been part of our Janison story for a long time. So it's important that we continue supporting them and working with them as we move into the next stage of digitization of assessment and the future of assessment. But then we take those experiences and we go into other geographies and get opportunities through those, as we've done with New Zealand. But also, I think we'd love to do more work in Australia itself and looking at how can we go to other states and territories. And finally, also from an overseas point of view, given that we have our chief customer officer based in the UK, and we built some good relationships in the UK. I think we're looking at kind of converting some of those into some of those opportunities as well. And then focusing on our partnerships and making sure that together with our partners, we can actually, bid for opportunities that typically we couldn't have on our own. So it's a combination of, our existing customers, growing our customer base in Australia and overseas, and also through our partnership model.
Okay, that concludes the Q&A session. I will now hand back over to Sujata for any closing remarks.
Thank you, Danny, and thank you to our shareholders, and thank you everyone for making time today to come and listen to us. We really, really appreciate your support. I know 25 has been an exciting year. It's had a year of great achievements and great challenges as well. And what I'm very, very proud is that we've navigated year one of our transformation, as an organization, having the laser sharp focus on our customers and our strategy. And we've ended the year with some strong results, fully acknowledging that the journey is not done yet. We are only, and we continue building on the great kind of momentum that we built in FY25 and continue building on that into FY26 as well, so that now we reach that, reach a state now in future years where we feel we've made the right level of investments and to ensure that from future years we have what, quite rightly the questions being asked in terms of margin improvements and so on, and we build a truly scalable and sustainable business that, that creates value for everyone, whether shareholders, customers, or staff. So thank you very much for your support, and thank you so much for joining us today. And if any other questions, please do feel free to reach out to myself or Dharmendra directly, or to Danny, our IR investor. Very happy to talk to you anytime. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Sujata. Thank you, Dharmendra, and thank you to all the participants. You may now disconnect.